full rite of spring, bringing with it excitement and emotion that can be found in no other sporting event, the NCAA tournament. Your wait is finally over, the brackets are ready, and the drama of March Madness is about to begin. Hello everyone, I'm Greg Gumbel, and this is the NCAA Championship Basketball Selection Show, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Joining me at the anchor desk, as always, my partner, Clark Kellogg. We're all set to show you the seedings and pairings, so get out your bracket sheet, get those pencils ready. Here are the basics. Of the 65 available tournament bids, 31 are automatically given to conference champions. The tournament committee hands out the remaining 34 bids on an at-large basis. An opening round game will take place on Tuesday night to narrow the field to 64 teams. But before we unveil the brackets for this season, here's a look at the final top 25 media poll of the season. The rankings look a little different than they did last week. One team made a huge move in the poll. The Houston Cougars jumped all the way from the number 22 spot to number 14.
They're peaking at just the right time, Greg. This is exactly the way you want to be playing going into the tournament.
Also, a new team has made the leap into the top 25. The New Mexico Lobos debut in the poll as the number 19 team. And that puts a cap on the final top 25 poll of the year. Now let's take a look at the NCAA tournament bubble and see which teams are sitting at home with their fingers crossed, hoping to see their name in the brackets. There are a lot of worthy candidates among these 10 teams, Clark. Which of these bubble teams stands out to you right now?
The Charlotte 49ers had the chance to set themselves apart from the rest of the bubble team, but they never could get over that hump and guarantee themselves a spot.
You're right about that, and there are plenty of teams in the same boat with them.
The DePaul Blue Demons could have sealed their invitation with a better regular season finish, but the fact is they play in a very tough conference, and that does weigh heavily in their favor.
I'm sure it's been a long week for those teams, but the wait's almost over. The NCAA Selection Committee has finished its meeting, and we're ready to unveil the top 4 seeds in this year's tournament. The Maryland Terrapins are the top overall seed, and they will play in the Charlotte Regional. The Selection Committee differed with the media on who the number 1 team in the country is, but the committee is the important one at this point, and we'll soon see if their faith in this team is warranted. On to the second number 1 seed, who will play in the Houston Regional. The Villanova Wildcats are seeking their second NCAA championship in school history. The Memphis Tigers are our third number 1 seed, and they'll play in the Detroit Regional. They're back in the tournament again, and no doubt they'll be feeding off the experience of last year's appearance as they try to get to the Final Four this year. And finally, our fourth number 1 seed will play in the Phoenix Regional. The Oklahoma State Cowboys are in the tournament field as a number 1 seed for the first time in the history of their program. Now, here's how the brackets shape up based on where the number 1 seeds have been assigned. In one national semifinal game, the winner of the Charlotte Regional will play the winner of the Houston Regional. In the other semifinal game, the winner of the Detroit Regional will play the winner of the Phoenix Regional. Those games will be played on Saturday, April 5th. Then it'll be on to the national championship game on Monday night, April 7th. Anything shocking to you about those picks?
Well, when you see the selection committee deviate from the top 4 teams in the media poll, it's a little surprising. They've opened themselves up to some criticism with these picks.
So, with the number 1 seeds out of the way, it's finally time to tackle the rest of the brackets. First up, we take a look at the Charlotte Regional. The Maryland Terrapins are the top seed, finishing at 25-6. In the ACC, they will take on the winner of the opening round play-in game between the Norfolk State Spartans with 15 wins and the Terriers of St. Francis from the Northeast Conference. And now, the number 8 seed, the Clemson Tigers, come into the tournament as the 4th place team in their conference during the regular season and were semifinalists in their conference tournament. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the George Mason Patriots, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 21-9. The Houston Cougars enter the field as the number 4 seed from Conference USA. This marks their 19th appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed. The Illinois State Redbirds finished the season with 18 wins. They're the tournament champions from the Missouri Valley Conference. The Connecticut Huskies come in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 23-10. And they will take on the 12th seed, the UNC Asheville Bulldogs, from the Big South with 15 wins. Next up is the number 2 seed, the Mississippi State Bulldogs, are the regular season champions from the SEC. They'll be going up against the number 15 seed, the Tigers of the Pacific, with 16 wins. This is their 9th appearance all time in the NCAA tournament. Our number 7 seed is from the West Coast Conference. The Gonzaga Bulldogs had a tremendous year that included a regular season championship. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the DePaul Blue Demons, who were 6th in their conference, finishing at 19-12. The UNLV Runnin' Rebels are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the Weber State Wildcats, with 18 wins. The Fordham Rams are in as the number 6 seed. They'll be taking on the number 11 seed, the Arizona Wildcats, with 19 wins. What a tremendous regional final we'd have in this bracket if the number 1 and 2 seeds here make it through the first 3 rounds unscathed. That could be one of the games of the tournament. Next up, we'll take a look at the Houston Regional. The Villanova Wildcats are the top seed, finishing at 25-6. In the Big East, they'll take on the Idaho Vandals, the number 16 ranked team. This will be their 5th appearance all-time in the NCAA tournament. The New Hampshire Wildcats are in as the number 8 seed. They'll be taking on the number 9 seed, the Washington State Cougars, with 22 wins. The Illinois Fighting Illini come in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 21-10. And they'll take on the 13th seed, the North Florida Ospreys, from the Atlantic Sun Conference, with 17 wins. The Arkansas Razorbacks enter the field as the number 5 seed from the SEC. This will be their 29th appearance in the NCAA tournament in school history. They'll be getting ready to face the number 12 seed, the Brown Bears. Finished the season with 18 wins. They're the regular season champions from the Ivy League. Our number 2 seed is from the Big 12. The Kansas Jayhawks had a tremendous year that included a regular season championship. They're going to play the number 15 seed, the Boston University Terriers, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 16-15. Next up is the number 7 seed. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets have established themselves as one of the best teams from the ACC. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the Auburn Tigers, with 20 wins. This is their 9th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. The Tennessee Volunteers are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the Detroit Titans, with 18 wins. And now the number 6 seed, the Aggies of Texas A&M, come into the tournament 6th in their conference during the regular season and were losers in their first game at their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the Charlotte 49ers, who were 2nd in their conference, finishing at 19-11. I think this could wind up being the bracket that brings us this year's Cinderella story. A few of the higher seeds here have had terrific seasons, and I'll be surprised if at least one of them doesn't put together a long run in this tournament. On to our 3rd bracket of the day. Let's take a look at the Detroit Regional. The Memphis Tigers are the top seed, finishing at 26-6. In Conference USA, they'll take on the Eastern Kentucky Colonels, the number 16 ranked team. This will be their 8th appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. Our number 8 seed is from the SEC. The Alabama Crimson Tide were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the big dance. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the Duke Blue Devils, who were 5th in their conference, finishing at 19-12. The West Virginia Mountaineers enter the field as the number 4 seed from the Big East. This is their 21st appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed, the Red Hawks of Miami of Ohio. Finished the season with 17 wins. They're the tournament champions from the MAC. The Colorado Buffaloes are in as the number 5 seed. They'll be taking on the number 12 seed, the Davidson Wildcats, with 19 wins. The Georgetown Hoyas are in as the number 2 seed. They'll be taking on the number 15 seed, the Wisconsin Badgers, with 17 wins. Next up is the number 7 seed. The Missouri Tigers are the conference tournament champions from the Big 12. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the St. Louis Billikens, with 22 wins. This will be their 8th appearance all time in the NCAA tournament. And now the number 3 seed, the Michigan State Spartans, come into the tournament first in their conference during the regular season and were semifinalists in their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 14 seed, Alabama A&M's Bulldogs, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 16-13. The Winthrop Eagles come in as the number 6 seed, finishing at 19-7. And they take on the 11th seed, the Horned Frogs of TCU, from the Mountain West Conference, with 21 wins. There are going to be some incredible matchups in the later rounds of this bracket. If the top seeds can avoid the early upsets, we can look forward to some real heavyweight battles. And finally, let's have a look at the Phoenix Regional. The Oklahoma State Cowboys are the top seed, finishing at 24-8. They finished 7th in the Big 12. They'll take on the Manhattan Jaspers, the number 16 ranked team. This marks their 7th appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. Next up is the number 8 seed. The Baylor Bears have established themselves as one of the best teams from the Big 12. They'll be going up against the number 9 seed, the Alabama Birmingham Blazers, with 23 wins. This will be their 14th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. The UCLA Bruins are in as the number 4 seed. They'll be taking on the number 13 seed, the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, with 18 wins. The New Mexico Lobos come in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 24-8. And they will take on the 12th seed, the Lumberjacks of Stephen F. Austin, from the Southland Conference, with 20 wins. The Creighton Blue Jays enter the field as the number 2 seed from the Missouri Valley Conference. This will be their 17th appearance in the NCAA tournament in school history. They'll be getting ready to face the number 15 seed, the San Diego Toreros. Finished the season with 14 wins. They're the tournament champions from the West Coast Conference. And now the number 7 seed, the North Carolina State Wolfpack, come into the tournament on the strength of a 3rd place finish in their conference regular season and were winners of their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the Mustangs of Cal Poly, who were 2nd in their conference, finishing at 19-8. The Vanderbilt Commodores are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the IPFW Mastodons, with 19 wins. Our number 6 seed is from the Big East. The Louisville Cardinals were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the Big Dance. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the Lafayette Leopards, who came in 1st in their conference tournament, finishing at 21-11. It's the first question every selection Sunday. Which is the toughest bracket? Well, this bracket looks to me like it wins that prize this year. Not only are the top seeds strong, the lower seeds can be dangerous as well. What are your thoughts on our top 16 seeds, Clark?
Maybe I haven't agreed with the selection committee every year, but I think they did a great job this time. The top 16 look just about right to me. The UCLA Bruins is a team I wouldn't want to face, even though they're down there as a number 4 seed. I think they've got the potential to be a Cinderella team.
Now, let's bring the conference picture into focus. The Big 12 gets 6 teams. The Big East with 6 out of the SEC. The ACC gets 5 teams. The Mountain West with 3 out of the Pac-10.
What a down year for the non-power conferences. We're used to seeing at least one of those conferences compete on the level of the power conferences, but not this year.
And let's not forget the teams out of the Big West. For a small conference, they competed at a very high level this year. Those teams could be the place to look if you're trying to find a Cinderella story in the tournament.
I'm surprised there were so few bids for the teams in Conference USA. It was an especially disappointing year for that conference. Usually you can count on a few of the nation's elite teams coming out of there, but this was a season where very few of those teams could maintain any type of positive momentum.
Here's the list of the teams that were on the bubble heading into Selection Sunday. So, partner, which of those invitees should be sending the selection committee a thank you card?
The Auburn Tigers can finally exhale. I don't think there was a lot of doubt that they'd make it, but we've seen good teams get left out before, and you just know this was a nerve-wracking day for this squad.
While they start prepping for their first-round games, the 5 teams on the other side of the page will be full-time students again.
The Indiana Hoosiers stumbled to the finish line coming down the stretch, and that's not the way to close out the season if you're hoping for an at-large bid. When they couldn't get it done in their conference tournament, their goose was cooked.
All right, Clark, now that we know all the teams and matchups, time to get the tournament underway and let the madness take over.
Greg, let's throw the ball up right now. I can't wait to get started. I hope this is an NCAA tournament that gives a lot of those special moments that stay with us for years to come.
For my partner Clark Kellogg and for all of us here in the 2K Sports Studios, I'm Greg Gumbel. Thanks for joining us on the NCAA Selection Show, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Enjoy all the excitement of the NCAA tournament.